All right, guys, welcome back to the last installment of this three-part series of learning how to paint a gas tank. Now, as you can see, we got the tank there, and we got some paint. Changed my idea for the color scheme a bit, more because I wanted to use three different kinds of paint. We've got gloss, we've got flat, and then we've got metallic. And I just want to see what's going to happen when we lay this stuff down. The concept that we have to paint the GL500, the Silverwing, that is going to have a mix of flat and gloss paint. And I'm just curious, I bet this will be a complete failure. That's my prediction. When we put gloss clear over flat, it's going to be glossy. But it's going to be a different color. We've done this in house painting before when you use different sheens. You use the same color, but you use eggshell versus a satin or even a semi-gloss. The sheen makes it a different color. So just because we're using black on black with gloss over the top, it should still, I hope, that's why we're testing, it should still be a different color. Let's get going. Okay. I also mentioned that we're going to have a bit of a design. We're not going to go crazy, but we want to test and practice taping off a line. So it's going to be a very simple design, and but I think I'm struggling with what color to start with. I'm thinking I'm going to paint the whole thing gloss black, and we'll tape it off, add in the flat black, and then we'll tape off the metallic, and we'll see what happens. Well, it's the next day, and we've sprayed on the gloss black, and I think I made a mistake already. I think I should have done it all flat black, and then we could have taped off where we wanted the gloss black to go, protecting flat, which is actually the pattern. So for sake of practice, we're just going to reverse the script on that, and it'll be fine. So the next thing is I've got blue tape. I've also got skinny green tape. I've also got green tape that's thick like this. I got 1.5 inch green tape, but for the sake of using two types of tape, we're going to try these as well. So the plan is I'm going to tape off the bottom, about 2 strips of this around the whole thing. And then we're going to have a couple of strips of this go around the bottom as well. So it's just going to be linear lines around the tank. Then we're going to paint the whole thing flat black. Let's go for it. Okay, well, I don't think that went too badly. This tape, oh God, this tape really sucks. But we got it on. I think I got it pressed in enough. Clearly the design isn't symmetrical. I did my best, but I'm not going to, I mean, really the test is to see what's gonna happen with the tape. Is the tape any good? And I can see right here, this is gonna be a problem. Right here, there's a, got a pointer, you guys can see right there where the tape comes up over this lip. That is not pressed down tightly against that rise. I don't think I can get it pressed in. Maybe I can. I don't think I can. So that'll be a little sucky. But we'll know that more for next time. And I don't know about this design. It's just something that make it kind of neat and clever. So let's go paint it and see what happens. Up next is the flat. So we'll take that over to the other garage and give that a go. I'm not gonna film that. We'll just bring it back here when it's done. But the one thing that I will say that I'm going to do, and maybe this is a bit controversial too, since I'm not a professional painter, I'm gonna paint 2 coats of this, 2 coats of flat, and then I'm gonna take the tape off. Is that proper? Or would you, if you were doing this, you professionals out there, or you at home, would you wait until it dried and then peel the tape off? I don't know. I think it's risky either way. I don't want the adhesion of the paint to stick to the tape. And then when I peel it up, then you got that cracking happening where it could flake off into the piece that you want to keep. And it's also risky because when I peel the tape, I need to be very, very careful that I don't go off course. So maybe we'll make that part of the test as well. Maybe we'll do one side, we'll rip off, the other side we'll leave. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we've got 2 coats of the flat black on our tank. And like I mentioned, I'm gonna try to take off some of the tape when it's wet. I'm really terrified at the moment that this won't work. I was more confident when I talked about this earlier, but we're only gonna do this where I think I can pick it up right here. It's definitely wet. Let's see if we can grab it. Yeah, I'm not so sure this is a great idea any longer. Gloves would have been smart. All right, here we go. Get a different position. Yeah, I don't know. It came off okay. I didn't, other than getting it all over my fingers, but we'll see how that looks. Yeah, so I guess we'll wait and see. We'll give this a good dry and we'll pull off the rest of the tape and we'll see the results. All right, so that doesn't look too bad, but it was messy and it was very risky. I mean, I could have easily touched up here where all the paint was. So let's give it a shot here. On the other side, we'll pick up just those 2 strips. Maybe. Oh, this paint is all right. Here we go. Oh boy. Well, that is not ideal. Even though it was messy, I think it was much better doing it when it was wet than dry. All right, let's take off this tape. Well, that line looks great. Tape sucks. Blue tape is doing much better than green tape. You could definitely say that with confidence. All right, that line looks great. Let's get it off on this side since that side's got that major run. Let's see what it looked like over here. All right, there we go. The good side. Yeah, I can live with that. Looks really good. I like that line, nice and clean. All right, so there we go. The blue tape is doing a much better job. Taking the green ones off was much better doing it wet. All right, so we got one other color. So I'm gonna leave this stripe on, and we're gonna do this color here. And what we're gonna do, it'll probably wreck the design, but it's more about the test than it is about the design. You know, we're just seeing what we can do. We've never done this before. We just kind of want to get an idea so we don't wreck the real deal when we do it. Let's tape up the metallic paint. All right, so we've got the last bit of color we're gonna lay on. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put some of this shiny metallic. The idea is it's just gonna fill in the open spots. So we're gonna have two stripes, one on either side of that black, and it's gonna run right up over the top, starting down here. I know, before people blast me in the comments, I'm not doing this with that much precision. We are gonna try to mask off the rest. So we kind of can keep it consistent with some sort of design, but this is purely just for fun. So let's give it a shot. All right, so I took that over for a quick spray. Literally just sprayed this like a minute ago. I am gonna try to take this tape off when it's wet, except for those center lines, unless we can grab them. And we'll have our final-ish product. Let's go. Oh, I guess we'll go with it. Yeah, that looks cool. All right, guys, last piece of tape. Here we go. Wow, that works pretty good. All right, so there's what we ended up for a design. Now, we'll let that silver dry, and we'll see what happens next. Wet sanding. All right, well, it's been another few days. Man, I don't know about you guys, but this painting stuff really takes a long time. Whew, no wonder this is so expensive. Today what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that scary thing again, where we're gonna hit this with some wet sanding. And the goal is we can get rid of this. Hear that? Try to get rid of that ridge where we added paint, where we had it taped off. But I'm really impressed with how this is turning out. As we've determined, the blue tape is way better than the green. Sorry if I'm repeating some of this, it's been a few days. I like how this showed up. I do have a few errors that when I do this for real, I need to be more cautious of. I've got a little bit of overspray from my bad taping job. And a curse. Went a little bit too deep on one of the layers. I've got a major run. I think it's with the black flat. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter when it happened, it matters that it did. And that's something that we're gonna need to watch out for when we do this for real. Try not to do too much too quickly. But, all right, so far, the sheen, the look, the taping off, all that seems to work out really well. Now let's wreck it. At least that's what I always think when we do the wet sanding. So I don't have my small bucket. Today we got a big bucket. We'll get that up here. So we get the tank wet. Probably would have been best to maybe had a spray gun, but here we go. Remember, I think how I did this before worked out really good with the primer. Just really, really light. We're not gonna go across the stripes, we're gonna go with the stripes, and we're just gonna let the paper do the work. Just gonna pause right there. As you can see, we're taking off quite a bit of material. And it's coming off, and it's looking like it's interfering with the color of my silver. Maybe it is when we find out at the end here, but we still have the click, click, click going across, but it's nowhere near as fast. And to be honest, I think I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna just go just a little bit more on the sides, and then we're gonna wipe it down. I think we're gonna call it good. I don't wanna take the paint off. That's my biggest concern. One of the things we'll see as soon as we get it wiped off, that little bit of overspray I had, that's gone. So I know I'm taking material away. All right, so if we look, let me stop shaking. All right, if we look close, we really took a lot of that sheen off of the black gloss. The stripes are actually pretty smooth now. I would probably go, I think I'm gonna stop there because I don't wanna start taking off too much paint. The top, I think we got a little bit too aggressive on in our stripes. Starting to wear away. So the next step I think is going to be to spray it with clear. We'll go ahead and do that, and then I think we're going to be done with this project. This was a great learning experience so far. Now that that's drying, it's actually looking not too bad. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we put the gloss back on. There. So now that the paint is drying from where we got it wet, it's looking like our design is coming back. I have chosen to go just with clear. I think gloss is going to take away our sheen. We'll see. And I will go from there. All right, it's such a nice day. I thought I would just spray outside. This probably is, again, not a good idea to do. probably would want to do this in a garage or in a spray booth of some kind to keep bugs, grass, dirt, dust. But like there again, this is practice, and we're just gonna go for it. So here we go. Yeah, so you can already see just throwing down one layer of clear. That is coming back. I like we got, looks like we still have two tones. The stripes don't look too bad. A little bit wore off, but I think that metallic paint, we're losing that finish. See, that's what it should look like, all sparkly. We don't have any sparkle left. I think that's because of the sanding, but we'll let this dry. We'll hit it with a couple more coats, and then we'll wrap this project up. Well, guys, we're done with the tank. And I'm gonna have to say, I think this ended up being a failure for the reason that we tried not to use the gloss. We just went with the clear. It's still too shiny, and it took away all of the contrast from the flat and the gloss paint. We can still see the striping in a little bit, and we can definitely see the different color, but the black on black theme I was going for isn't there. This should have been shiny, flat, shiny, flat, shiny, flat, and the whole thing is shiny. So I'm glad that we tested this, but I think we're gonna have to go back to more testing before we can actually do the actual painting that we need to do on the bike. But I do appreciate your guys' attention. Thank you for watching this series. I learned a lot, actually. I learned that painting takes a long time, that the actual painting isn't that hard. It's the setup and all of the waiting for it to dry and the proper cure time based off of what we can do with the paint. I think I might have, leave a comment below if I jumped the gun on doing the wet sanding. Do you guys wet sand the paint and then put the clear, or do you put the clear on and start wet sanding the clear to try to knock out this ridge? My initial thought was I would be knocking the ridge down off of the paint before we put the clear on, but maybe that's taking away too much paint. Because it definitely degraded the lines with our silver. But like I said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Mike with Ace Cafe Bikes. We'll see you guys in the next one. Took over a week and a half. That's a big job.